Hey everybody, Captain Alger here with week 1 of the Not So Weekly Retro Challenge. So Back in the Day Gamer and I have been gone for a little bit. He did an update video of why that was. So he got married, I had a daughter, and while we're on that subject, so in that update video he called my daughter Stella. Well, her name's actually Sophie. So here's a picture of what she looked like when I told her that. She was very upset. No, just kidding. So anyways, back to the Weekly Retro Challenge. It's Home Alone on Super Nintendo, and the premise is pretty simple. You need to run around collecting items to put in the safe before Marv and Harry get them or stop you. So you can see in this first stage you're collecting like money and expensive stuff. So there are a couple goons other than Marv and Harry. Like these guys are here, they're pretty easy to deal with. So at the top of the screen you can see the safe. That's how many items you have left to put in. And in the top right shows you how many are in your backpack. In each level you can hold more and more in your backpack. So you go around opening different things. You can see I jump around a lot because sometimes you'll randomly hit something and a pizza slice will come out or another item. Pizza slices, when you pick up 8 you get an extra life. And then if you can find a whole pizza, you actually get an extra life just right then and there. But this challenge is get as far as you can without losing a life. It's a pretty easy game. It's only 4 stages, so it's a pretty easy game, especially once you learn where all the enemies are and stuff. So we fast forward a little bit. Here's the end of the last level. You can see the safe is blinking 0. So this is the only level without a boss, but you just got to get through some bats and rats. The configuration of the bats changes every time. Sometimes they're low, sometimes they're high, you know, it just changes. But about every third bat you got to watch out for the rat. But otherwise it's pretty simple. Once you get past it, you get to the safe, lock it up, and the first stage is done. Not too difficult. And there's always the yes by Kevin at the end, which I always like. So stage 2, which you can always tell which stage you're on by the top, the room you start in, at the top of the bed, on the shirt. So this is you're picking up toys. One thing I never really understood is, why don't you ever pick up any like video games? Like even in the movie, Kevin didn't have any video games. You know, he spent his time watching, you know, the gangster movie and stuff. I don't know, if it was me and I was 8 years old and Home Alone, I'd be playing Nintendo all day and watching cartoons. But that's just me. So there are some tricks you can do to get rid of Marv and Harry. Like there, you knock the paint can on them. So there are some references to the movie quite a bit. With obviously pizza, Kevin likes pizza. You can see that's cheese pizza. You can knock the paint cans on. There'll be like tacks and cars on the floor that they can run over, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good. So then this one you can see that I've got 8 items in my backpack. So in the last level you could hold 6, this time you hold 8. So we're almost done with this level 6 left, but I want to show you another one of the bad guys you can come across. This guy actually throws his hat, but it does come back to him, so just stay away from him, and then you can take him out. I like to knock him over with the water gun and then use the other weapons to take him out. So you get a slingshot, which is a little more powerful, and then actually in the next stage you actually start getting a baseball and other ones. So that aftershave allows you to become invincible, and so you can run over everything and kill, or I guess knock out Marv or Harry or whoever you see. It's nice, but there's no warning to when it ends, so you got to kind of be careful. So we will head down to the basement of the second level, and this one actually does have a boss. So you grab the key for the basement, head in. So just like the previous level, you got to get through some enemies. There's some spiders, but look at how big those spiders that are. They're like a half the size of Kevin. He's an 8-year-old. Like, that's pretty scary. I mean, small spiders are pretty bad. But this is pretty easy. Jump through them, and then you can see that gray brick. You got to knock it onto that spider. I mean, look at that. If I was Kevin, I would be out of there right now. I wouldn't care about the toys or any of the expensive stuff in the house or Marv and Harry stealing it. I would just get the heck out of there. So it takes 5 hits. There you go. And you're done with the level. You close up the safe. And now we've got the expensive items and the toys all locked up. And as usual, Kevin celebrates. So the third stage, which you'll see here, is the electronics. So you can see I've already kind of far into it. Only 5 items left. So there's TVs, VCRs, remote controls, that kind of stuff. There's something coming up here pretty soon, I believe. Yeah, it's this part. So this is a tough section that I never knew how to get past as a kid. But you can't get Marv any other way except for shooting those light switches and turning the lights on. So there's actually a section in level 4 that Back in the Day Gamer got to and died at. So the platformer can be a little tricky, especially that area, because the controls are kind of slippery, but you do get up there and get that pellet gun, which again is a nod to the movie that, you know, Kevin uses to shoot Marv and Harry once they get to the house. So here we are in the basement again. This time we're ghosts, which, you know, it makes sense. Kevin in the movie was afraid of the basement. The furnace was always talking to him and scaring him until he told him to shut up. So this one just get past the ghosts. First time I got to this part, those ghosts didn't show up right away, so I started running and I got hit a couple times. But other than, you know, you take your time, it's very easy, and then you get another boss fight, this time against a ghost. And every time he gets hit, he drops down before he jumps again. So it's really easy to avoid him, except for here, I don't know what I was doing, just standing there. But there you go. Third stage is done. I'll lock up those electronics and move on to the fourth stage. So you can see in my points, I have 146,500. So I already passed Back in the Day Gamer there, but the goal is to get as far as you can. So this one, you're collecting the pets. And if you see at the top, you need 35. Why does this family have 35 pets? So you have to collect frogs, lizards, birds, and then dogs and cats. It's like, okay, I can see having a couple dogs and cats. You know, maybe a bird, maybe a lizard, but really 35 of them? No wonder, you know, Marv and Harry are trying to steal from them. They just have too much stuff. And if you know, you've seen the movie, their house is ridiculous. So I wonder what Kevin and, or not Kevin, I can't remember his parents' names, but his parents, what do they do for a living? But, I mean, they fly their entire family to Paris, they have this huge house, whatever. So you can see now that we're in stage 4, these guys move a little bit faster, but you can still outsmart them pretty easily. And they start to the point where they don't run over the tacks and the cars on the ground anymore. So you have to trick them a little bit more. So I guess one thing I haven't touched on in during this yet. So this game is very nostalgic for me. I absolutely love this game. I mean, it's not that great of a game. It's pretty short. It's pretty easy. There's not much to it. But my buddy Curtis, who I lived across the street from when I lived in Illinois before we moved to Wisconsin, this was one of those games he had that we just always played. It was this and Turtles in Time. And I don't know why we played this that much, but we did. I love how right there the frog just comes way down, up high from the ceiling. It's like, how did he get up there? So now we're in the top here. Only 13 items left, so we've passed Back in the Day Gamer. Getting a couple birds. So I leave that cookie there because if you don't collect something, it stays where it is. You can get it later, just in case I end up getting hit, because we're in this, like there, you know, I just run into that even though I knew that was there. So I was thinking that was the door that you open and Marv is, or Harry's right. Yeah, Harry's right there. And you have to run away from him, but that's the next door. But yeah, that's why I left that cookie there. I'll go back and get it now to get back to full health. And it's a good thing I did, because coming up I'm going to take a couple hits and almost die, which would be pretty upsetting because, you know, this game really is not that difficult. So I would have been upset if I wasn't able to beat it. So there's another cookie, so I saved that again in case I get hit. Dump some stuff, and we only have 3 items left. I love how those animals just sit there. And they sound like a brick when they land. So this one has Harry in it. I hate sometimes you hold the button too long and accidentally leave. So this part I mess up on. So there's a cookie there. You can knock him out, but very briefly. But I try to knock him out with this paint can, and that's kind of tough to do. So head back over here. I know the aftershave's up there. Hit him, get the aftershave, and I try to jump back to the tub, but I miss. Then he hits me again there, so I was like, oh crap. So there's another Harry out here, so I take care of him. Get a couple more items. Then we're gonna dump them in the into the basement, and then head down for the final confrontation. Only with 2 hits remaining. So this is the toughest basement. So there's rats, and I don't know what the hell I was doing there. But there's 2 rats, and then there's a space, but then there's these rats that continuously come down from the ceiling. And, you know, with only 1 hit left, you know, I took this very cautiously. I was waiting so I could, there you go, jump over 2 at a time. That's usually what I like to do. But you just got to be very patient here. It's not that bad, but it's definitely the toughest basement. Then jump over him, and we're in the last one. This is the hardest boss battle. So it's a rat, but he doesn't just keep going back and forth. He does turn around and jump, and you never know what he's going to do. So, but there is the spot in the left corner. He actually never gets you. So if you stand there, you should be fine. Just got to watch and make sure he doesn't turn around and come at you. Only a couple more hits. Should be 1 more. And there it is. Game is done. So yeah, not a very difficult game. Lock up the pets. We've made it with a score of 185,500. So doing pretty well. I'm feeling pretty confident I'll be able to win this challenge. And then you get a little sentimental. Kevin finishes it, and then his mom comes home. They only have his mom. They don't have his family at all. I kind of wish they did, and you'd have Buzz yell, "Kevin, what did you do to my room?" Love that part. And so he's all happy that his mom's home. I also wish there was like a confrontation with Marv and Harry at the end instead of battling a giant rat. You know, battle them in some way, or maybe have the snow shoveler guy come in and knock them out. That'd be kind of cool. But it's a pretty good game, you know, and it's a great Christmas game. There's not a ton of them. So then there's the Wet Bandits in jail and get locked up until the second movie. So I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you got to get this in by December 26th, the day after Christmas. Thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Kevin Algebra, signing off.